In this video, I'm introducing the top 3 best areas to live in Airdrie, Alberta for families with kids. So if you're moving to our area here in Airdrie, Alberta, and you're a family with kids, you're going to be wanting to know what is the best area to live in, or what areas should I consider when I'm looking for a home here in Airdrie, Alberta. I have to tell you, this is kind of hard because Airdrie is such a family-oriented city. I had to distill it down to a top 3, and well, here it goes. Okay, I've gone over the map and the data, and having been in homes in all of these communities many times, I've distilled down to what I believe are the top 3 best communities in Airdrie, Alberta for families with kids. And again, I've added a bonus community in just for those who have just a little bit extra budget. It'll be fine. Hey, just before we get into it, for those who don't know me yet, my name is Glenn Heslop. I'm a local realtor here in Airdrie, Alberta with eXp Realty, and I've lived in the area for like over 30 years. And if this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn everything about living in Airdrie, Alberta, considering a move here, this is your channel. If you're relocating here to Airdrie, Alberta or the area, make sure you reach out and give me a call, send me a text, or even shoot me an email, whatever works. However you want to get a hold of me, I've got your back when moving to Airdrie, Alberta. Okay, let's go. The number 3 best place for families with kids here in Airdrie, Alberta, Williamstown, Reunion. Now, Williamstown and Reunion is technically 2 separate developments or neighborhoods, but it looks to me like there's just an arbitrary line drawn right down the middle, what really is just one larger neighborhood. So the homes in this area were mostly built between 2008 and 2014, and there's a small pocket that was built up in 2018. Mostly single-family homes, but also including an interesting selection of townhomes. Here's something interesting. This here is a nature preserve, and this place is absolutely wild in the spring. It's just full of birds nesting, ducks and geese, and I don't know what kind of birds. It's just wild and noisy and full of birds. It's pretty fun. In the spring, there's quite a bit more water in the creek, and I remember taking my kids over here to this little bridge, and we'd launch the canoe, and then we'd go all the way down here through behind this little shopping center to the next neighborhood, Willowbrook, where we used to live, and we'd pull the canoe out behind the house. It's pretty cool. One of the big draws for this area is the new school here, Heron's Crossing School. Now, this is a kindergarten through grade 8 school, and it's a short walk from pretty much anywhere in the whole Williamstown Reunion neighborhood. Pretty convenient to have a school this close as you adjust to living in a new city here in Alberta. One of the things that families love about this neighborhood, Reunion, Williamstown, are the parks. There are quite a few parks scattered throughout the neighborhood. Take a look. Hey, one great bonus is there's a pretty new fire station right here on the edge of the neighborhood. So you might want to ask, how close are grocery stores, restaurants, and other shopping? About 6 minutes east, you're going to find the Real Canadian Superstore. And from other parts of Canada, you might know it under the name of Loblaws, or it's the President's Choice brand store. It's a really large store, groceries, pharmacy, some clothing, etc. Large, not super fancy, but really good prices. So that's about 6 minutes away. And right here in the same complex, you're going to find a gas station, a Boston Pizza, Party City. There's a Canadian Tire, Tim Hortons, Mark's Work Warehouse. Let's see, Edo Japan. Oh man, those noodles are so good. Opa. So there's a whole bunch of little places to eat, and groceries right here, 6 minutes east. And just about 5 minutes away from the neighborhood is Sobeys. It's a little bit of a fancier grocery store, a little bit more expensive, really nice, great deli stuff in there. And nearby here is other assortment of shops and restaurants. Coffee shop, Good Earth Cafes over here. Original Joe's is always good. And there's Zenbu Sushi over here. It's a bit of a sushi fusion place. Amazing. If you love to golf, Woodside Golf is just 3 or 4 minutes away from the neighborhood. Really close by, really nice course. There's also just north, just outside of the city, 8 or 10 minutes north, there's a nice country course, Apple Creek. It's a little bit newer and a great restaurant. So here's a couple options super close to the neighborhood. I know many of you these days will be working from home, so are more interested in the availability of broadband internet. And there are some great options here for broadband. And TELUS has backhauled fiber, I think, to the entire neighborhood and pretty much every neighborhood in Airdrie just a few years ago. But for those of you that will be commuting to the job, you'll be more interested in what the commute on the roads will be like. The morning commute will mean a 5-minute straight shot east down Veterans Boulevard, and either a left at the lights to enter the on-ramp for Calgary, or a right if you need to pick up a coffee and a breakfast bite at McDonald's or A&W. Okay, so there's one kind of weird thing about this neighborhood, and one many people don't know about. There's an oil well right in the middle of the neighborhood. It is camouflaged pretty well with the grass berm all around it. So you can really only see it from this angle. There's a little gravel driveway off a side street past a park, and I've never heard anyone complain about it. And it's just quietly pumping away and likely will be for years to come. So yeah, welcome to Alberta, the oil patch. There are a variety of homes here in the neighborhood. I remember moving one family into a home, and this thing had to have the largest backyard I think I have ever seen. Room for to store your RV, small soccer field, and there's still a large backyard. And I think it really helped them as they were moving from a smaller town where lots were bigger to move here to the little larger center and just feel more comfortable as they settled here. Another couple 2 or 3 years ago, they moved here from, if I remember correctly, it was the Vancouver area. They bought a shiny, super shiny 2-story house with a walkout basement and backed right out onto the nature preserve. The great view of the park right behind their yard. It was pretty cool, pretty spectacular. Another single parent family. I found them a home for themselves and their 2 teenage boys, and a detached garage big enough to fit the monster truck. Hey, it is Alberta. So how much are homes here in this neighborhood? Single family homes are ranging in the $500,000 to $800,000 range. Townhomes have been ranging in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. Keep in mind that this video was shot in the early fall of 2023. I helped 2 couples buy really sweet townhomes with walkout basements, looking right out on this nature preserve. Now, there are a few homes in this neighborhood that are a little bit unique. And if you look behind me, there's 2 of these homes are 3-story homes. The master bedroom is on the 3rd level, what would normally be an attic. And at least one of these is a walkout basement. So the basement opens up right into the backyard, so it's effectively like a 4-story home on the back side. Pretty cool. Not so great if you don't like stairs, but if you're a bit youthful, they're awesome. Reunion Williamstown is a great choice. It's a super popular neighborhood for families with kids. Hey, just before we move on to number 2, I'm really interested to know where you're coming from as you're planning your move here to Alberta. So just let me know in the comments below. The number 2 best place in Airdrie, Alberta for families with kids, Kings Heights, Ravenswood. Now, this is another neighborhood with a bit of an arbitrary line drawn down the middle of it. So this over here is Kings Heights, an area right I'm in. But over there, just behind a couple streets over, is suddenly Ravenswood. Not sure why, but it's kind of like one giant area with 2 different names. Actually, now a third. There's a new area in the southwest called Lanark Landing. So this area has been wildly popular for families with kids. So what's so great about Kings Heights or Ravenswood? So this area has been developed with lots of parks and water features that most neighborhoods just do not have. So because of this, there's a homeowners association, or an HOA, to cover the extra maintenance cost of these items above and beyond what the normal city parks and recreation would cover. Now, I know some of you hear HOA and you're thinking condominium association. In some regions, the names are interchangeable. Here it's not. So the regular fees here are between $80 and $150 per year. So it's not too much extra for all the extra enjoyment of this beautiful neighborhood. A huge draw to this community are the two brand new schools here. The Eloise Lormier School is a kindergarten through grade 5 school, really new. Watch this being built just a few years ago. It's located right in the center of the neighborhood, so a really reasonable walk for your kids to walk to school pretty much every day of the year. The other school that's right next door is an interesting school. So this one is a Francophone school. Now in Alberta, there are lots of French immersion schools that are partly in French and then partly in English. But this one is 100% in French. It's a kindergarten through grade 12 school and a very active athletic program. I know I've been here for lots of sports games. My kids play in them and they're tough. There's simply a ton of parks and recreation facilities in this neighborhood. I got some shots for you. Take a look. Similar to Williamstown Reunion, Kings Heights Ravenswood has an Airdrie Fire Department station, kind of a brand new station right adjacent here to the neighborhood. That's some extra peace of mind knowing that in case something bad happens, help is really close by. One really great thing about Kings Heights Ravenswood is the nearby shopping. You're only about 3 minutes or so from 2 grocery stores. The Save On Foods, which is fancier, kind of more gourmet, and then No Frills, the low-cost store right behind it. There's also tons of restaurants and shops right in the same area. Jams is a tiny but really great breakfast spot. Bottomless hash browns are dangerous. Bit of a growing craft beer culture here in Airdrie. And hey, if you're a fan of craft beer, there's 2 microbreweries right next to the neighborhood. Atlas Brewing and the 948 Brewing Company. That's a bonus for sure. Now, unlike Williamstown Reunion, there's not a golf course right next door. But just about 2 minutes away, there is an off-leash dog park. Really cool spot to let your dog just run off some of that energy. Maybe a little for you too. Now the big story here is the commute. This area is super close to the freeway to Calgary. Currently there's a bit of a traffic jam in the morning and evening. It's pretty much only one way in and out of the area to the freeway, and that's by Yankee Valley Boulevard. And just a few blocks here get pretty jammed up morning and night. Now, the new development here is right at the south end of this development. Currently in the final stages of development is a brand new overpass and interchange that will provide super fast, easy on and off the freeway from this neighborhood. This has been years in the making, but will make a massive improvement to the commute to the city. So what is the age of the homes here? Construction started in this area around 2005. And in some parts of the neighborhood, it's still continuing today. One of the biggest differences of this area is the varied types of homes that are available. Executive homes over $1 million backing onto one of the water features. Detached single-family homes with double front drive garages from the $500,000s to around the $800,000 range. And homes without garages or with detached garages in the $400s and $500s. And duplexes in the $400s and $500s. And townhomes from the high $300,000s to the $400,000 range. And even very nicely finished apartments starting under $200,000. Now I'm recording this in the early fall of 2023, so the numbers could be slightly different depending on when you're watching this. Remember, one retired couple was able to find them the perfect bungalow right in the northwest part of this neighborhood. they were pretty stoked. Another older couple, you know, my age, they were downsizing, selling their acreage and moving into town, and I was able to find them a really nice half duplex in here with a big enough garage in the back, so he still had room to work on his projects there. It was a good move for them. One single mom wanted to upgrade from her townhouse right in here, but didn't want to leave the area. I was able to get her into a modest-sized but really nicely finished home right here. She loved it. In fact, I just recently spoke with her. She says she's never leaving. Another very active young family with deep roots here in Airdrie. They're able to buy quite a large, really beautiful home with a massive backyard here, right backing onto the school grounds, the big open fields. Lots of room for the kids to run wild. Another young man, a design professional, starting out in his career, been living at home to save up cash to get started. And I helped him to buy his first home. It had a great big backyard, so since he's been able to build a killer garage for his projects. This neighborhood really does have something for everyone. So Kings Heights, Ravenswood, well, and now Lanark Landing, is a great neighborhood for families with kids. The #1 best place for families with kids here in Airdrie, Alberta, Thorburn. Now I have ranked these 1, 2, and 3, but my number 3 may be your number 1. This is why it is very important when you're starting your search to reach out. We can set up a meeting in person, or if you're not here already, by Zoom. I need to get to understand your family, your needs and your preferences, where you're commuting to, and what your next perfect home looks like in your mind. So my contact information is on the screen and in the notes below. Hey, a quick note for those of you coming from Ontario or from BC's Lower Mainland, you're going to be amazed at the home you can get here for your money. And it's a very fun and youthful place too. You're going to love it. Okay, back to the #1 place for families with kids here in Airdrie, Alberta, Thorburn. Thorburn is a bit of a departure from the larger and newer neighborhoods that we've looked at. This is a small neighborhood in East Airdrie. The original neighborhood was built in the 80s and the 90s, but the north part was built out in the early 2000s. This area is way smaller than the other areas we've looked at. And this place is off the beaten track and super quiet. Hey, one massive amenity for this area is it's built on the eastern shores of East Lake, but we'll get to that in a second. There are 2 schools right here in the neighborhood. There is a kindergarten to grade 8 school. This one here, right behind me, Good Shepherd School, is part of the Catholic School Board. Hey, leave me a comment below if you'd like me to explain how schools work here in Alberta, especially in this area. The primary school for this area is located just about 2 minutes over here in the next neighborhood, RJ Hockey School. Now, right behind this school, Good Shepherd School, is Meadowbrook School. It's a middle school, and that hosts grades 6 to 8. Now, though this is a smaller neighborhood, there's some really great parks here. The whole neighborhood is ringed with paved walking paths around the neighborhood and connecting through the different parks in the neighborhood. And these all end up leading over to East Lake. Yeah, my wife was living in this neighborhood when we were dating. Lots of nice evening walks right down here. And kind of a fun fact, the Airdrie New Year's Eve fireworks is usually set off from right in the middle of East Lake. So just a short walk, don't even need to look for parking. Just walk over there, take in the fireworks display. I'll try to see if I can find a video or some photos for you. Okay, I wasn't able to find any photos on my own. For some reason we searched our phones and I can't find anything. But these ones showed up on Google. A fireworks display here. That's just a few years old, some of these photos. Let's just switch the here. So this is standing behind the high school on the athletic park and just looking at the fireworks on East Lake. It's pretty fun. So on the north side of the lake is the East Lake soccer fields, East Lake outdoor hockey rink, and the East Lake tennis courts. And here's another practice field for football. Football's a pretty big thing in this town, pretty popular, lots of kids playing football. A huge bonus for this neighborhood is being right adjacent to the massive Genesis Place recreation facility. This place is amazing. It has indoor soccer, hockey, a large swimming facility, lazy river, basketball courts, huge weight room, gymnastics club, I'm missing a whole bunch. It's just a huge recreational facility, and it's just a couple-minute walk from many of the spots in this neighborhood. Immediately behind Genesis Place is the Ed Edgar Athletic Park. Ed Edgar was a very well-known commercial realtor in this town. It's a 4 or 5 minute drive to the same shopping areas adjacent to Kings Heights. One of the great things about the city of Airdrie is that it's only about 10 or 12 minutes driving, and you can drive all the way across the city. So commuting into Calgary from Thorburn is a little bit more complicated than the other areas, but with the new 40th Avenue overpass that's coming live this month, October of 2023, it should really take a lot of the congestion off and make it fairly simple. One cool thing is for the evening commute back home, there's a center exit right in the middle of Airdrie that you can get off really close to the neighborhood and skip most of the traffic and be home in no time. Most of the homes here are in the 500s and 600s, but there's a few larger homes. Here's a monster just under 1.4 million, over 6,000 feet of developed space, and backing right onto East Lake. Guess it wouldn't be that bad having a backyard barbecue and watching the sunset over East Lake, huh? Now I promised you a bonus neighborhood for those with a bit of a higher budget. Coming right up. Okay, here's our bonus. A great neighborhood in Airdrie, Alberta for families with kids, especially if you have a little bit bigger budget. Cooper's Crossing. For years and years, Cooper's Crossing has been the executive address to have here in Airdrie, Alberta. Construction started here in about 1999 and still continues here at the south end of the development. If you're looking for a great family area, then Cooper's Crossing may be for you. So more recently, a kindergarten or primary school was built right here in the middle of the neighborhood. Cooper's Crossing School has classes for kids kindergarten through grade 5. Even more recently, the Catholic School Board built a new school in the south end of this development, St. Veronica's School. And I believe this one, if I have my information correct, is kindergarten through grade 9. There's a lot of great parks in this area. Here are a couple of the more elaborate ones. Improvement for shopping here. Recently, a new Save on Foods was built on the southwest corner of the development. Lots of other shops and restaurants here too. McDonald's, Dairy Queen, Pet Value, a great Mediterranean place called Moody's. And for you craft beer fanatics, the Balzac Brewery is located right here. Cooper's Crossing is located perfectly to take advantage of the new 40th Avenue interchange. The south edge of the neighborhood is right on 40th Avenue. Hop on 40th Avenue and boom, right on the freeway to Calgary. Okay, cool enough. Lucky for you guys. Just as I was finished producing this video, 40th Avenue interchange opened. So I stuck a camera on top of the car and went for a spin onto the freeway to give you guys a view of what would it be like to head into Calgary using the new interchange. Helped one family to find their dream home right on this beautiful green space here in Cooper's Crossing. What a great spot. I had one client, single person, working odd shifts, wanted something that felt really secure and a little bit luxurious. Found him a really great place in here. Loved it. So most of the single family homes in this area are really starting around the 600s and going upward. And when you get over the 800, 850 range, some truly executive homes appear. But if you're looking to spoil yourself, and if you have the budget, there are some beauties in here going all the way up to around 1.4 million and higher. And there are a few really nice duplexes here in the 500s, some of them even brand new. And townhomes in the $450,000 to $550,000 range. These are the numbers I'm seeing in the last half of 2023. I'm a local realtor who's lived in the area for well over 20 years and know every nook and cranny of Airdrie. Now I'm shooting tons and tons of videos all about living in Airdrie, Alberta. Different neighborhoods, different issues, everything you want to know when you're considering a move here to Airdrie, Alberta. Now make sure you subscribe and click that little bell to get notifications every time a new video comes out on this channel. I'd love to get your comments below. I know I'm going to get all different kinds of comments, but that's cool. I'll be watching and try to answer as many of them as I can. If you're thinking about relocating here to Airdrie, Alberta, give me a call, shoot me a text, an email. I've got your back. I'd be more than happy to help. My contact information is on the screen and it'll be in the comments below. Hey, to learn more about living in Airdrie, Alberta, watch one of these videos next.